Just in case your parents didn't teach you about money, here are the 10 money rules that helped me build $1 million net worth at 26 years old. Starting off with number 1, stop using a debit card, but instead you're going to use a credit card because credit is very important. And the way you build a good credit score is by never spending money you don't have, by never carrying a balance, and by never paying any interest. Rule number 2 is that you need 4 different bank accounts. You need a checking account, you need a high yield savings account, you need a brokerage account, and then you need a retirement account, which I recommend a Roth IRA. Rule number 3 is that you need to budget. You need to know where every single dollar is going. Are you saving it, investing it, or spending it? And if you need help with budgeting, my budget tracker is linked in my bio. Next up, you need to make an emergency fund for yourself, which is money set aside in case of a rainy day. And trust me, when it rains, it pours. So you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside in a high yield savings account. And once your emergency fund is fully funded, you are going to stop saving money and make your money work for you by investing. And how you invest is totally up to you. You need to figure out your risk tolerance. But if you want a simple set it and forget it strategy that is guaranteed growth, you need to go ahead and invest into ETFs that track the overall market like SPY, VOO, and QQQ. This one's really important, but you need to continue living beneath your means because lifestyle inflation will keep even the highest of earners broke. Of course, it's okay to reward yourself. Yes, you can buy nice things from time to time, but do not elevate your lifestyle significantly every time you start making more money. I can't stress this one enough, but you cannot save your way out of being broke. And as someone that didn't grow up with a lot of money, I promise you your best bet is to increase your overall income. And the best way to do that is to learn high value skills, to job hop every 2 to 3 years, to do side hustles, or maybe even start your own business. But the end goal is to always increase your income.
In today's video, we have some financial tips that you all can kind of take just within learning how to kind of navigate with life, with making money, and how to really grow your money long term. Me personally, I kind of apply some of these tips and tricks, such as like living below my means, or even just investing into stocks like S&Ps that have multiple stocks just within one. And I think that it is very important that everybody just takes the time to really learn the things about finances and about money, because these are things that are not really taught in class and not really taught in school at all. So we have a video really focusing on these different money tips and things that you can do with your money right now today. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video.
My wife Sharon and I started off with nothing when we first got married. Most people do, I think. And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire, making $250,000 a year. But I had done stupid. I borrowed too much money. Bank got sold to another bank, and some guy in another city looked down and said, there's a kid 26 years old, owes us millions of dollars. Let's limit this relationship, which is banker talk for ruin his life. They called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued, we were foreclosed on, and finally we were bankrupt. I met God on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. So 28 years old with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we got the opportunity to start from zero again. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. You've got to learn to save and invest. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. There's a high correlation in all of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money.
I think he has a very valid point just within living below your means. And this is another thing that, I really preach a lot about. Like, if you have what you need and you have those essential things in life, like a car, you have a place to stay. It may not be what you want right now, but you have the things that are necessary. Work with those things. It's really about short-term discomfort, long-term gain. You're sacrificing right now, not having the things that you will want to have. For later down the road, you can buy a lot of those things, and you can have just the comfort to know that the money that you have is making more money for you, and it's not running out to where you are scrambling trying to find ways to keep up with a lifestyle that you can't afford.
These are the 3 things that I would suggest doing to come into 2026 with a fresh slate financially, to get yourself on the right track for a better financial future this year. There are 3 things, and they're all very simple. The first one being track your expenses, track your money, and budget. That's all the same thing. I just said it in a different way. There is no way, in my opinion, to advance financially or to reach financial goals without understanding where your money is going going and how much you're making and how much you're spending. It is so helpful to visualize and to see on a spreadsheet or an app or a piece of paper. Holy cow, I spent $650 on Chick-fil-A this month. That's got to stop. Imagine if I put that somewhere else. You think you know how much you're spending, but you do not know until you write it out. So budget your money, track your expenses, track your spending in whatever way you could possibly imagine works best for you. I have a budget template available at the link in my bio if you want to do a spreadsheet. If you want to do an app, go download an app. If you want to do it in a notebook, go for it. But you need to be budgeting your money. It is 2026. Start budgeting. The next thing is to have a high yield savings account. I feel like a broken record talking about these because I feel like they're so popular now and so many people are talking about them. But if you do not yet have a high yield savings account for your savings, what are we doing? Everyone talks about them. They are free to open, they're easy to use, and they offer an interest rate 400 times more or 300 times more, depending on what the rate is at the time, than like a regular Chase or Wells Fargo bank. You should have a high yield savings account. There is no excuse not to have one. If you are looking for suggestions, you can comment bank down below and I will send you some of my favorite high yield savings accounts, or just go to the link in my bio. I think I have some of them listed in there. Whatever you want to do, Google it, ask ChatGPT, whatever, open a high yield savings account. And the third thing is really two different things. It's like a slash. It's save/invest. And the reason I say slash is because if you don't have an emergency fund yet, save. That's the first step. With that high yield savings account you just opened, save up an emergency fund and put it in there and put yourself in a position where you feel comfortable with 3 to 6 months of expenses in case anything goes wrong this year, because who knows what's going to happen. You are covered for 3 to 6 months. If that's covered, go to the slash invest. Start investing more. If you're not investing at all right now, just start investing something. And if you are investing, try your best to increase that in any way that you can. Maybe try to invest more into your Roth IRA. If you don't have one, open one. You could try to max out your Roth IRA if you want to get crazy. I don't know, whatever it is, but make sure you're doing something to progress financially, whether that's just starting your savings account or starting to increase your investments. Make 2026 the best year financially for yourself, and you will thank yourself later. I promise you. And I will be right here along the way doing the same thing myself, tracking my money every single day, putting money in my high yield savings account, and investing and saving as much as I possibly can to set myself up for a better financial future.
One thing that I do is that, especially when it comes to having money for certain things, is that I always like to track and I always like to plan ahead and have money saved up for multiple months as an emergency, because emergencies always happen. And you know, when you hear that saying of majority of Americans don't even have more than $400 in their savings account in case of an emergency happens, I think that's very telling to something that really does need to be changed when it comes to just finances and just within even budgeting as well. I think that sometimes we can get so caught up with just knowing how much money we make and not knowing where to put that money in, or what different things that we are paying towards, to where we almost lose track, and you find yourself spending up all your money and be like, where did all my money go? Well, it really plays into budgeting. And one thing that I do personally to just do well with just budgeting is having an Excel sheet and listing all of my different expenses for the month and writing those different amounts, so I know I have it written down, typed out in Excel form, knowing how much am I spending on each item every month. And I think that this is very important and very and there's also different ways too that you can also do budgeting. They even got apps that do the same thing. But I think really sitting down and seeing where your money is going every month to know how to budget things, and you can even look at previous months and previous times of like how much things were costing to know how much you need to plan for when it comes to money. I think that that's very important, and that will really help you kind of master just the art form, which is budgeting and knowing where your money is going, so that you aren't stuck in a place where your money is just disappearing. You don't know where it's coming from.
No more eating at restaurants. No more vacations. No more doing anything that doesn't put money in your pocket, and no more Netflix. And the reason why I say this isn't because you're going to save $15 a month. It's so you can save 2 hours of your time a day. The average American is watching more than 2 hours of television a day. And if you don't have $2,000 saved up, if you have credit card debt, you cannot afford those 2 hours a day being wasted on TV. And that means right now, you have to go out and start using the time to learn, start using the time to work, and start using the time to make some extra dollars. So what do? Start selling stuff, stop spending money.
Selling stuff you own.
Selling stuff you own. So if you have A TV that you're not using, sell it. You have a car that you can't afford, sell it. If you're living in a house that you can't afford, sell it. Downgrade, move smaller, and then work to earn more money.
Point of what he's saying, and that I really do agree with, is that if you are spending all that time, that extra time, I know some people, we have 9-to-5 jobs that we go to and that we work at, but you have that time before you go into work and you have that time after you come into work. And during that time, you're sitting here having all these different debts, all these different things that are going on. Like, you can be using that time to pour into learning a new skill, or just doing like what I'm doing right now, YouTube, or just pouring into something that will make you money down the road, to where, yeah, you have that job that's paying your bills and that's, having just that stable income, but you are building something on the side that is going to be able to pay off the other things, so that you can get more ahead in life and not stuck behind some other people that may be struggling with the same thing.
What's the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
I was very lucky because, as I told you earlier, I started washing cars and boats for very wealthy people. And what I found is the wealthier the people, the more they wanted to help me as a young kid. And maybe they saw a part of themselves in me and they wanted to give me that value. And what they were telling me back then, which is even more relevant today, is don't count other people's money. And so many people are looking at other people and they're seeing things that really aren't real. People get so caught up in what other people have and keeping up with the Joneses, and they're buying things and spending money on things they really can't afford. So much of what the young generation sees today all over the place, it's fake. You start comparing yourself to other people, there's always going to be someone richer, there's always going to be someone faking it more. It'll make you feel insecure, because you're going to go right now. I could go with you on Instagram and show you 1,000 kids that look like they're doing great, and it could make you feel bad about yourself. Worry about yourself. Go at your own pace and it'll work out fine.
He makes a really good point too. I see this a lot just on social media, where you'll see on social media just these people flexing this lifestyle with the houses, the cars, the money, and you might be thinking to yourself, just being at a point where you may not have achieved that at that moment, is that, wow, I'm seeing how they're living life and they just must have it all figured out and they just must all have it done. But in most of these cases, a lot of these people be faking it, and the people that really have that type of money and are really making that type of money are not, probably more than likely, are not doing the things that these people are doing on social media. And you have, and with the life that we live now, where you're able to just rent these things, like you can rent a nice car for a day, or you can rent a private jet or a yacht and then just flex to people to make it seem like you're really living a life that you're really not. You have to really go off of the fact that we are all running our own race and we are all going at our own pace. And think about it to yourself. If you really had that type of money that these people were flaunting and everything, do you really think that you would do the same thing that they're doing? And another thing that he brings up as well is like networking. Like, you have wealthy people that are actually wealthy. Network with them, talk to them, see what you can figure out, see what type of knowledge that you can get, that you can end up applying to your own life to go after the things that you want to go after to obtain.
My father used to say, and the older I get, a lot of the stuff that he says makes so much sense. My father would say, if you ever want to have money, if you ever really want to have money, I just told my son this the other day. If you ever really want to have money, if you make $10 an hour, you got to live like you make $5. In other words, you have to live below your means, right? And living below your means, men, doesn't mean that you have to live like a pauper, right? A lot of people have that misconception that if I'm not, keeping up with the Joneses, if I'm not trying to make my life look like what it looked like on Instagram, then I'm not really living life. Guys, I have known many people in my 56 years of living that made way less than I did. And yet they were able to go on vacations every year. They kept a nice car, nice clothes. But what you didn't see is, the bling and the this and the that. That's how I stayed broke.
3 best stocks to buy Tuesday, January 6th, as soon as the stock market opens up, regardless if these stocks are going up or if these stocks are going down. Here are the 3 best stocks to buy tomorrow on Tuesday. Coming in at number 1 is a top athletic brand that has seen a ton of insider buying from its own CEO and also from Tim Cook, the Apple CEO. This is a top athletic brand, and that is Nike. This stock has been beaten down over the last few years. It's down like 60% from the all-time high, 70%. And they have some huge partnerships with all top athletes, and they are finally subsiding to all of the tariffs. Before we jump into number 2, make sure to give me a follow and comment the word stock, and I'll send you over my full portfolio worth over 7 figures at just 24 years old, so you guys can check it out and see what I'm holding. Coming in at number 2 is a company that's been lagging the entire market due to AI, and that is Amazon. Amazon actually did report that they are returning to double-digit sales, and Amazon Web Services is going to be growing over 20% again year over year, which is phenomenal, and this stock is due for a breakout as it just broke over its 50-day moving average. Coming in at number 3 is an investment banking company that has achieved 20% revenue growth, which is absolutely great for that sector, and that is Goldman Sachs. As interest rates come down, I expect the stock to absolutely soar over $1,000 per share.
Great stocks to invest in. Amazon, great stock, especially with the way how the market's moving now. You know, people are shopping online more than ever. You have Nike too. I mean, a lot of people wear Nike, and just the way how that market is doing really well. And even Goldman Sachs, you know, that's a very excellent banking financial company to really look into. So yeah, man, y'all better invest into these stocks now. You know, don't just look at the video, man. I actually put some action behind it.
Okay, the first index fund is VU. This fund covers the S&P 500, aka the 500 biggest companies in the US. I invest 40% of my money into this fund. This is my investment into America, because if America fails, I'm not going to be retiring at all. I'll be hunting squirrels for dinner. So yeah, I'll bet on the US economy. Okay, the second fund is VXUS. Covers all my international investments, aka everything outside the US. That's 20% into this fund. I invest in this because the world is bigger than America, or I do want diversification beyond just American companies. The next fund that I invest in is the QQQ. This is basically investing in the NASDAQ 100, a ton of tech and growth companies. I invest 25% into this fund because if AI takes over the world, I at least want my portfolio to be on the winning side. The fourth fund is SCH. This is a dividend ETF with high quality cash flowing companies. 10% of my investments go into this ETF because one day I want my money to pay me instead of the other way around. The last ETF that I invest in is just BND. It's the US bond market fund. And I put 5% into this fund. It helps calm the portfolio down, smooth the ride, lower the volatility, and protect my gains if the market does crash.
Definitely the point of this is just to diversify your investments. Live below your means. Be sure to budget your money and put in that extra time, even outside of work. You know, you might be times where you just don't feel like doing nothing. Like, put that extra time, because you never know how much time that you consistently put in can end up paying off big time longer down the road, man. But y'all let me know if y'all found this video very helpful. Let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comment section. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video.